In the vast expanse of the galaxy, there existed a small planet called Viridia, which was home to a human colony. This planet was surrounded by darkness, its orbit barely visible among the sparkling stars. For many alien species, Viridia was just another speck in the universe, a place inhabited by the cowardly humans who had fled their homeworld, Earth, seeking a fresh start away from the chaos and war. The colony was established on a rugged terrain, filled with mountains, dense forests, and rivers that twisted like serpents through the land. It was a place of beauty, yet it bore the scars of harshness. The humans who lived here were hardworking, resourceful, and, in the eyes of many alien species, incredibly foolish. They were often mocked for their apparent reluctance to engage in conflict, choosing instead to live in peace and harmony with nature. Among these humans was a young woman named Maya. She was a scientist, dedicated to studying the flora and fauna of Viridia. With her wild brown hair and green eyes that sparkled with curiosity, she embodied the spirit of exploration. Yet, she often felt the weight of her species' reputation as cowards. Deep down, Maya longed for adventure, for a chance to prove that humans were more than what others thought. Her best friend, Jake, was a soldier, trained to protect their colony. With broad shoulders and a scar running down his left cheek, he was often seen as a symbol of strength. But inside, he struggled with the constant label of cowardice. He had fought in minor skirmishes with local predators, but had always been careful not to take unnecessary risks. He believed in protecting the colony, but he too wanted to show the galaxy that humanity was brave, not just foolish. As the sun set on another ordinary day, Maya and Jake sat by the riverbank, watching the water flow lazily past. The sky was painted in shades of orange and pink, and the stars began to twinkle above. It was peaceful, but an uneasy feeling hung in the air. The news from other colonies was troubling. Alien fleets were mobilizing, seeking to expand their territories. Rumors whispered of their intentions to conquer weaker planets, and the human colony was high on their list. "Maya," Jake said, breaking the silence, "what do you think will happen if they come here? Do you really think they'll see us as a threat?" Maya sighed, her gaze fixed on the rippling water. "I don't know, Jake. I hope they see us for what we are, survivors. We've built this place from nothing. We may not have the technology of the Sindari or the brute force of the Karath, but we have each other." Jake nodded, but a shadow of doubt crossed his face. What if they don't care about that? What if they come to destroy us? What if they see us as nothing more than easy prey? That night, the colony gathered for a meeting. The atmosphere was tense as the leader, an older man named Elder Tom, stood before the crowd. His voice trembled slightly, but his determination shone through. "We must prepare for the worst. Our world may be peaceful, but we cannot let ourselves be seen as victims. We have skills and knowledge that can protect us." The crowd murmured, and Maya could see the worry in their eyes. The reputation of humans as cowards was ingrained in the minds of many. Would they rise to the challenge, or would they succumb to their fears? In the following days, the colony began to train. Jake took charge of the defense training, gathering volunteers to learn combat skills and tactics. Maya, though hesitant about the idea of fighting, offered her knowledge of the planet's resources. She proposed building traps and using the environment to their advantage. "Remember, we're not here to win a war," Jake emphasized during a training session. "We're here to protect our home. We don't have to be warriors. We just need to be clever." As the days turned into weeks, whispers of an impending invasion grew louder. The colony buzzed with nervous energy. Some residents worked tirelessly to fortify their homes, while others honed their skills in defense. Maya and Jake worked side by side, their friendship growing stronger amidst the uncertainty. One evening, as they sat reviewing plans for the colony's defenses, a strange feeling washed over Maya. "What if we actually face them?" she asked quietly, looking at Jake. "What if the stories of our cowardice turn out to be true?" Jake turned to her, his expression serious. "Maya, Every species has its strengths and weaknesses. We may be labeled as cowards, but bravery comes in many forms. It's not about fighting. It's about standing up for what we believe in. If we protect our home, we're already winning. Maya felt a spark of hope at his words. Maybe they were not just cowards. Maybe they were brave in their own way. As she looked into Jake's eyes, she saw the determination that mirrored her own. The days passed, and the colony continued to prepare, bolstered by the strength of their resolve. They would not be victims. They would fight back against the odds. Little did they know, the true test of their courage was just around the corner, and the galaxy would soon learn what it meant to be a human. As the stars twinkled overhead, the humans of Viridia stood united, ready to face whatever came their way. They were not just cowards, they were brave in their own right, and they would show the universe what it truly meant to defy the odds. As dawn broke over Viridia, the vibrant colors of the sunrise illuminated the colony, casting long shadows that danced across the ground. The humans of the colony had awakened early, fueled by a mixture of anxiety and determination. In the days that followed their preparations, rumors had escalated into alarming reports. Alien ships were spotted in the outer reaches of the planet's atmosphere, moving closer with each passing day. Maya stood by the observation tower, her heart pounding in her chest as she peered through the telescope. What she saw sent shivers down her spine. Sleek, dark vessels with sharp angles glided silently through the sky, their menacing shapes a stark contrast to the gentle curves of the Viridian mountains. She turned to Jake, who stood beside her, his brow furrowed with worry. "Do you think they know we're here?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Jake clenched his jaw, his gaze fixed on the ships. "They must. They wouldn't be this close if they didn't have plans for us." The news of the ships spread like wildfire through the colony. Panic began to rise among the residents, each one grappling with their fears. Elder Tom called an emergency meeting in the main square, where the atmosphere was charged with tension. The usual chatter was replaced with hushed conversations and nervous glances. Elder Tom stood before the gathered crowd, his face grave. "We have confirmed reports of an alien fleet approaching our planet. We cannot underestimate them. These are not mere raiders. They are a powerful force. But we must remember, we have prepared. We are stronger than they think." Maya felt a surge of pride at Tom's words. Despite their reputation, the humans were ready to defend their home. Yet doubt lingered in her mind. Would their preparations be enough? As the meeting concluded, Jake gathered a group of volunteers, including Maya, to discuss their strategy. They huddled in a small room, maps of the colony spread out on a table before them. "We need to be ready for an attack," Jake said, pointing to various locations on the map. "Our best defense is to use the terrain to our advantage. We can set traps in the forests and use the rivers as barriers." Maya nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and fear. "What about communication? We should try to gather intelligence on their movements." "Good idea," Jake replied, looking around the room. "We need scouts. Who's willing to volunteer?" A few hands shot up, including Maya's. She felt a rush of adrenaline as she realized she was ready to take risks, to be part of something bigger than herself. The group worked tirelessly, preparing for the coming confrontation. Days turned into nights as they set traps in the woods and reinforced their homes. Maya worked alongside Jake, using her scientific knowledge to create makeshift devices that could disrupt the alien technology. She felt empowered, knowing that her skills could contribute to their defense. On the fifth day, the day they had been both dreading and anticipating arrived. The colony was on high alert, the tension thick in the air. Residents moved about with a sense of urgency, checking traps and fortifying barricades. Maya could see the fear in the eyes of her fellow colonists, but there was also determination. They were ready to protect their home. As the sun began to set, a loud siren echoed across the colony, signaling the imminent arrival of the alien ships. The sound was both a warning and a call to arms. Maya felt her heart race as she joined Jake at the observation tower, looking out at the horizon. "What do you see?" Jake asked, scanning the skies. Maya squinted, trying to focus. They're coming." Dark shapes loomed in the sky, blocking out the stars. The alien ships descended rapidly, their engines roaring as they cut through the atmosphere. Fear gripped Maya's heart, but she forced herself to stay focused. This was their moment to show what they were made of. As the ships landed, a hush fell over the colony. The aliens emerged, tall and intimidating, with slick, scaled skin that shimmered in the fading light. They wore armored suits, their faces hidden behind helmets that reflected the human expressions of shock and fear. Jake gripped Maya's arm, his expression serious. "Remember, we stand together. We may be outnumbered, but we are not powerless." The aliens began to move towards the colony, their presence both terrifying and awe-inspiring. The humans stood their ground, prepared to defend what they had built. Maya could feel her heart pounding in her chest, but she held her head high, refusing to back down. Suddenly, a loud explosion erupted nearby, shaking the ground beneath their feet. The aliens had launched an attack, aiming to breach the defenses. Chaos erupted in the colony as humans scrambled to their posts, ready to fight for their lives. Maya and Jake quickly positioned themselves near the barricades, coordinating their defenses. "We need to hold them off until we can activate the traps," Jake shouted over the noise. Maya nodded, her mind racing. She activated a device she had built, sending a signal to the traps hidden in the woods. A series of loud clanks echoed through the air as the traps triggered, ensnaring a few of the unsuspecting alien soldiers. "Look!" Maya exclaimed, pointing to the chaos in the woods. The aliens were taken by surprise, struggling against the devices that had immobilized them. It was a small victory, but it fueled the fire within her. "Keep pushing," Jake shouted, rallying their fellow humans. "We can do this." As the battle raged on, Maya fought alongside her friends and neighbors, each action fueled by a fierce determination. They may have been labeled as cowards, but in that moment, they were warriors defending their home. The clash of metal against metal echoed through the air, but the humans held their ground. In the face of adversity, they discovered a strength they never knew they had. The galaxy would soon learn that these cowardly humans were not to be underestimated. They would fight with every ounce of courage they possessed, and they would not go down without a fight. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the humans of Viridia stood united against the darkness, ready to defy the odds and protect their world. The chaos of battle enveloped the colony as alien ships unleashed waves of energy blasts, illuminating the darkening sky. Maya crouched behind a barricade, her heart racing. The noise was deafening. Explosions, shouts, and the crackle of energy beams filled the air, blending into a terrifying symphony of conflict. "Keep your heads down," Jake shouted, peering over the barricade. He gripped his makeshift weapon tightly, ready to respond to the threat. "We need to stay organized." Maya nodded, her hands trembling slightly as she activated another device. The traps hidden throughout the forest had been a success, slowing the advance of the alien forces, but she knew they needed to act quickly to turn the tide in their favor. "Ready," she yelled to Jake. "I'll trigger the next wave of traps." "Do it," Jake shouted back. Maya pressed a button on her device, and a series of loud clicks echoed through the forest. The traps sprang to life, ensnaring more of the alien invaders. She could see them struggling, their armored suits making it difficult to escape. The sight filled her with a surge of hope. But the aliens were quick to adapt. Their commanders barked orders, and soon, the remaining forces regrouped, launching a counterattack with renewed ferocity. Energy beams sliced through the air, targeting the barricades and sending debris flying. Maya ducked down, narrowly avoiding a blast that singed the ground beside her. "Fall back," she heard Jake shout. "We need to regroup near the central square." Maya followed Jake's command, her heart pounding as they maneuvered through the chaos. They ducked and dodged, weaving between their fellow colonists, each one fighting with a determination fueled by desperation. The colony was more than just a home. It was their sanctuary, and they would do anything to protect it. As they reached the central square, Maya noticed that many of the colonists had gathered there, forming a defensive line. Elder Tom stood at the front, his face a mask of calm amidst the turmoil. "We must hold this position," he yelled, rallying the troops. "This is our last stand." Maya caught her breath as she joined the line. "What's the plan, Elder Tom?" she asked, trying to steady her voice. "We need to create a diversion," Tom replied, looking at Maya and Jake. "If we can distract them long enough, we might be able to drive them back." Jake nodded. "We can use the traps to create a blockade. If we funnel them into one area, we can contain their forces." Maya's mind raced. "I can set up more devices along the perimeter of the square. If we can lead them into that area, we might have a chance." "Then let's do it," Tom said, his voice filled with determination. "We fight for our home." As they prepared, Maya quickly set to work. She gathered her remaining devices, rigging them to create a series of explosive distractions. She could hear the sounds of battle drawing closer, the alien forces regrouping for another assault. Each blast echoed in her ears, a constant reminder of the stakes at hand. "Jake," Maya called, "we need to position ourselves here," and before she could finish, the aliens charged toward them, their numbers overwhelming. The ground shook beneath their feet as the alien soldiers advanced, their energy weapons blazing. "Now," Jake shouted, pulling Maya back as he prepared to fire at the oncoming threat. Maya triggered her devices just in time, sending a series of bright explosions cascading through the air. The shockwaves knocked some aliens off their feet, causing confusion among their ranks. "Push forward," Elder Tom commanded, rallying the colonists. Fueled by adrenaline, the humans surged ahead, taking advantage of the chaos. Maya felt a newfound strength within her, her fear replaced by a fierce determination. She moved alongside Jake, firing their makeshift weapons at the retreating aliens. As they fought, Maya couldn't help but notice the changing tide of the battle. The colonists, once labeled as cowards, were fighting back with a tenacity she had never seen before. Each shot fired was met with a shout of defiance. Each explosive distraction fueled their resolve. But just as hope began to blossom, a chilling sound cut through the chaos. A larger alien ship hovered above the square, its dark form casting an ominous shadow. A beam of energy shot down, targeting the heart of their defenses. "Everyone, take cover," Jake yelled, but it was too late. The blast struck the ground with a deafening roar, sending a shockwave that knocked everyone off their feet. Maya felt herself flying backward, hitting the ground hard. Stars danced in her vision as she struggled to regain her senses. She looked around, disoriented, the world spinning. "Maya." Jake's voice cut through the haze, and she turned to see him scrambling to his feet, reaching for her. "I'm okay," she managed to say, but fear gripped her heart as she saw the alien forces regrouping. The larger ship was now targeting the remaining colonists, and they were in desperate need of help. With determination surging through her veins, Maya pushed herself up. "We can't let them win," she shouted, rallying the nearby colonists. "We need to fight back." Gathering her strength, Maya grabbed a nearby weapon and ran toward Jake. "We have to stop that ship," she yelled, her voice filled with conviction. Together, they led a group of colonists toward the base of the alien ship, their spirits ignited by a newfound courage. They fought with everything they had, driven by the love for their home and the desire to protect their future. As energy beams erupted around them, Maya felt a spark of hope. They may have been labeled as cowardly, but today they were proving their strength. With every step forward, they were rewriting their story, defying the odds, and showing the universe that humanity was anything but weak. In that moment, amidst the chaos and destruction, Maya realized that bravery wasn't the absence of fear, it was the determination to face it. The battle was far from over, but they were ready to fight for their home, united in their resolve. The galaxy would learn that cowardly humans could become fierce defenders when the stakes were high. As the dust settled from the explosion, Maya and Jake pushed forward, their determination unyielding. They fought alongside their fellow colonists, every heartbeat echoing the urgency of their mission. The alien ship loomed above them, casting a long shadow over the central square. Maya glanced at Jake, who was rallying the remaining colonists. "We need to find a way inside that ship. If we can disable it, we might just turn the tide." "I agree," Jake replied, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. "But we need a plan. We can't just rush in there without knowing what we're facing." Suddenly, Elder Tom appeared at their side, his face grim but resolute. "I have an idea. There is a maintenance hatch on the side of that ship. If we can reach it, we might be able to access their control systems." Maya nodded, her heart racing with a mix of fear and excitement. "Then that's our goal. But we have to be careful. We don't know what kind of defenses they have inside." As they prepared to move, the ground trembled again. The alien soldiers regrouped, ready to charge once more. Maya took a deep breath, steeling herself for what lay ahead. "Let's go," she shouted, leading the way toward the maintenance hatch. They dodged blasts from the alien energy weapons, using whatever cover they could find. Each step felt like an eternity as they neared the dark hull of the ship. Maya could see the hatch in the distance, a small glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. "Over there," she pointed, her voice filled with urgency. "Just a bit further." The group pressed on, adrenaline coursing through their veins. Suddenly, an alien soldier spotted them and raised his weapon. "Look out!" Maya shouted, instinctively pushing Jake aside as a blast narrowly missed him. "Thanks," Jake yelled, firing back at their attacker, the makeshift weapon making a satisfying thud as it hit its target. With renewed focus, they sprinted toward the hatch. Maya reached it first, her hand shaking as she pulled it open. "It's clear," she called out. Elder Tom and the others quickly followed her inside, the cramped space barely fitting them all. The interior was dimly lit, and the air was thick with an unfamiliar scent. "Let's find the control room," Tom instructed, leading the way down the narrow corridor. Maya and Jake followed closely behind, their eyes scanning for any signs of danger. As they made their way through the ship, the eerie silence was unsettling. The colonists moved cautiously, their hearts pounding with every step. They finally reached a large door marked with strange symbols. "This must be it," Maya whispered, glancing at Jake. "Are we ready?" "Ready as we'll ever be," Jake replied, his determination unwavering. Elder Tom pushed against the door, which creaked open slowly. The room inside was filled with screens displaying various data, glowing softly in the dark. In the center stood a large console, its surface covered in unfamiliar buttons and switches. Maya's eyes widened as she stepped inside. "This is it. We need to disable their systems." Jake hurried to the console, his hands moving swiftly as he tried to decipher the alien technology. "I've never seen anything like this," he muttered, "but I'll try to figure it out." Suddenly, an alarm blared through the ship, its shrill sound echoing in their ears. Maya's heart sank. "They know we're here." "Work faster," Elder Tom urged, scanning the room for potential threats. "I'm trying," Jake exclaimed, sweat beading on his forehead as he pressed buttons and pulled levers at random. Just then, the door swung open, and several alien soldiers rushed in, their weapons raised. "Get down," Maya shouted, pushing Jake to the ground as she took cover behind the console. A fierce firefight erupted. Maya fired her weapon, heart racing as energy blasts flew past her. She could hear the shouts of her fellow colonists as they fought back against the alien invaders. "We need to hold them off while Jake works," Elder Tom shouted, firing at the advancing aliens. Maya focused her aim, determined to protect her friends. She shot down an alien soldier, adrenaline surging through her. "Keep fighting," she urged, trying to keep their spirits high. Jake, still hunched over the console, managed to bypass a few security systems. "I think I can disable their shields," he shouted over the noise. "Do it," Maya yelled, her voice barely heard above the chaos. With a final press of a button, Jake's eyes widened. "I'm in. The shields are down. Now's our chance," Elder Tom yelled, pushing forward with renewed vigor. The colonists pressed against the alien soldiers, fighting with everything they had. Maya felt a surge of hope. With the shields down, they could turn the tide of battle. "Let's show them what we're made of," she shouted, her voice ringing with defiance. With a newfound determination, they charged forward, forcing the alien soldiers back. The colonists fought side by side, no longer labeled as cowards, but as brave defenders of their home. In that moment, amidst the chaos and fear, they forged an unlikely alliance, not just with each other, but with their own inner strength. They were ready to reclaim their future and show the galaxy that humans were not to be underestimated. As the battle raged on, the colonists fought valiantly against the alien soldiers. With the shields down, they pressed forward, taking advantage of every opportunity to push back the invaders. Maya could feel the tide turning in their favor, but she knew they needed to act quickly. "Jake, can you find a way to get us control of the ship?" Maya shouted over the noise of blaster fire, ducking behind a piece of alien machinery. "I'm working on it," Jake replied, sweat trickling down his face. He focused intently on the alien console, fingers flying across the buttons. "If I can get access to their navigation systems, we might be able to take the fight to their command ship." Maya felt a spark of hope at the thought. "We need to get to the command ship and disable it. That's our best chance." Just then, Elder Tom charged into the room, gun raised. "We're holding them off, but they won't stop coming. We need to move fast." "Let's go," Maya urged, rallying her fellow colonists. They'd fought their way toward the console, taking out alien soldiers one by one. The air was thick with tension and smoke, and every shot felt like it could be their last. But the colonists pushed through, driven by the need to protect their home. Jake finally let out a breath of relief. "I'm in," he shouted. "I have control of the ship's systems now. We can target their command ship directly." "Great," Maya exclaimed, a fierce grin on her face. "What's next?" "I need to override the ship's weapons," Jake explained, tapping furiously at the console. "If we can aim at the command ship's power core, we can disable it once and for all." Maya turned to the rest of the group. "We need to buy Jake some time. Let's cover him." Elder Tom nodded, leading the charge toward the door. "Keep them off us. We're almost there." As they fought to fend off the aliens, Maya could see the determination in her friends' eyes. They had transformed from scared colonists into brave fighters. Each shot they fired brought them closer to freedom. "Almost there," Jake shouted, his voice strained with effort. "Just a few more seconds." The alien soldiers were relentless, but the colonists stood strong, using everything they had. Maya felt the fire in her heart burning brighter. She couldn't let fear control her anymore. "Push forward," she yelled, leading the charge as they pressed against the alien forces. "We're not giving up." With every alien they took down, the colonists grew bolder. They fought not just for their lives, but for their home, their families, and their future. Finally, with a triumphant shout, Jake declared, "Got it. I've locked onto the command ship's power core. Now fire." Maya ordered, her voice booming with confidence. The ship's weapons fired, a brilliant burst of energy shooting out toward the command ship. The colonists watched in awe as the blast struck its target, sending shockwaves through the air. The command ship shuddered violently, and a massive explosion erupted from its core. It was a sight to behold, a symbol of their defiance against the alien invaders. "Yes," Jake shouted, raising his fists in victory. "We did it." The remaining alien soldiers hesitated, fear creeping into their eyes. They glanced back at the wreckage of their command ship, realizing that the tide had turned against them. "Now, let's finish this." Elder Tom rallied the group, firing at the remaining aliens. The colonists surged forward, emboldened by their victory. Maya felt a surge of adrenaline as they fought. With every alien they took down, she felt the weight of fear lifting from her shoulders. They were no longer the cowards the aliens had underestimated. They were warriors. As the last of the alien soldiers fell, cheers erupted among the colonists. They were battered and bruised, but they stood together, victorious. Maya looked around at her friends, her heart swelling with pride. They had fought against the odds and won. They had shown the galaxy that humans, despite being labeled as cowardly, could rise up when faced with a threat. In that moment, she realized that bravery wasn't about the absence of fear. It was about facing it head-on. Together, they had faced their fears and come out stronger on the other side. As they caught their breath, Maya couldn't help but smile. They had fought for their home, and in doing so, they had discovered their true strength. The colonists were no longer seen as weak. They were a force to be reckoned with. As the last echoes of battle faded, the colonists stood amidst the debris, breathing heavily but filled with a sense of accomplishment. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. However, the price of that victory weighed heavily on them. Maya looked around, taking in the scene. Many of her fellow colonists were tending to the wounded, while others began to clear the wreckage left by the battle. The once bustling colony now resembled a battlefield, but there was hope in the air. They had proven they were not cowards, and they had fought for their home. "Everyone, let's regroup," Elder Tom called out, his voice strong despite his fatigue. "We need to assess our situation and make sure everyone is safe." Maya hurried over to where Jake was sitting on a fallen piece of alien machinery, his face smeared with dirt and sweat. "Hey, are you okay?" she asked, kneeling beside him. "I'm fine," Jake replied, his voice a little shaky. "Just a bit tired, I guess." He managed a weak smile. "We actually did it, Maya. We won." "Yes, we did," she said, feeling a warmth in her chest. "But we need to stay alert. There could still be more aliens lurking around." Elder Tom joined them, looking around with concern. "We need to establish a watch. I want scouts out to make sure the area is clear. We can't take any chances." Maya nodded, her resolve strengthening. "I can go. I'm ready to help." "Me too," Jake added, surprising both Maya and himself. "All right." Elder Tom agreed, looking at both of them with approval. "Stay close together and report back if you see anything unusual." As they set off, Maya felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. This was new territory for them, and the thought of facing more aliens sent a shiver down her spine. But she reminded herself of the bravery they had shown during the battle. They could do this. The two of them ventured through the remains of their colony, searching for any signs of danger. The sun was setting, casting an orange glow over the landscape. The quiet felt strange after the chaos of the fight. "Do you think they'll come back?" Jake asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know," Maya admitted, "but we need to be prepared. They underestimated us before, and we surprised them. We can't let our guard down." Just then, a rustling sound caught their attention. Maya raised her weapon, heart pounding as she and Jake exchanged worried glances. They approached slowly, every sense on high alert. As they rounded a corner, they were relieved to find a group of colonists, their faces marked with exhaustion but relief evident in their eyes. "Maya, Jake, thank goodness," one of them, Sarah, exclaimed. "We thought we'd lost you." "We're fine," Maya reassured her. "We're just checking the area for any remaining threats." "Good idea," Sarah said, glancing around. "We found a few injured in the square, and we're trying to help them. But it's tough. We need more supplies." "I can help with that," Maya said, a sense of purpose returning. "Let's gather what we can find." The group quickly fell into a rhythm, working together to gather medical supplies from the remnants of the alien ship. Maya felt a sense of unity among her friends, a shared determination to rebuild what they had lost. After some time, they returned to the central square, where the remaining colonists were tending to the wounded. The atmosphere was somber but filled with hope. They had survived against the odds, and now they had to rebuild. Elder Tom approached them, a weary but proud expression on his face. "I'm proud of all of you. You've shown incredible courage today. We fought not just for survival, but for each other." Maya felt her heart swell with pride. They had not only defended their home, but had also formed bonds that would last a lifetime. "We need to come together and create a plan for the future," Elder Tom continued. "We can't let fear dictate our lives anymore. Together, we can make this colony stronger than ever." Maya looked at Jake and the others, determination igniting in her spirit. "We're ready to do whatever it takes," she said. "We will build a better future." As the sun dipped below the horizon, the colonists gathered together, united by their shared experiences. They had fought bravely, and now they would rise again, stronger and more resilient than before. In that moment, they understood that bravery was not just about fighting. It was also about standing together, supporting one another, and never losing hope. They would face whatever challenges lay ahead, side by side, as a true community. As dawn broke over the colony, the first rays of sunlight illuminated the landscape, revealing the damage left by the battle. Buildings stood in ruins, and debris scattered across the ground. But amid the destruction, there was a renewed spirit among the colonists. They had survived, and now it was time to rebuild. Maya stepped outside, feeling the warmth of the sun on her skin. The air was fresh, filled with the sense of earth and hope. She took a deep breath, ready to face the day ahead. The sounds of her fellow colonists preparing for the work ahead filled the air, a symphony of determination. "Hey, Maya," Jake called out as he joined her, a determined look on his face. "I was thinking we should gather everyone and discuss our next steps. We need a plan." "Absolutely," Maya agreed, her heart racing with excitement. "Let's make sure everyone is on the same page. Together, we can turn this place into something better." They walked toward the center of the colony, where many colonists were already gathering. Elder Tom stood at the front, addressing the crowd with a commanding presence. "Good morning, everyone," he began, his voice steady. "Today, we begin the process of healing and rebuilding. We faced incredible odds and emerged stronger, but now we must focus on our future." A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. Maya could see the determination in their faces, a shared desire to move forward despite the hardships they had faced. "We need to divide into groups," Elder Tom continued. "Some will focus on rebuilding our homes, while others will help in repairing equipment and gathering supplies. We also need to set up a defense system in case the aliens return." Maya stepped forward, raising her hand. "I can lead a group to gather supplies. We can check the remains of the alien ship and see what we can salvage." "Good idea, Maya," Elder Tom replied. "And I suggest Jake leads a team to reinforce our defenses. We need to ensure our safety." Jake nodded enthusiastically. "I can work on that. We'll set up lookout posts and strengthen our perimeter. We won't let them catch us off guard again." With their tasks assigned, the colonists split into teams, each person ready to contribute to the collective effort. Maya felt a sense of purpose as she rallied her group, a mix of seasoned colonists and newer arrivals eager to help. "All right, everyone, let's move out," she called, leading her team toward the alien wreckage. "Stay focused and keep your eyes open for anything useful." As they arrived at the crash site, Maya surveyed the debris. The alien ship had suffered significant damage, but there might still be technology they could use. "Look over there," one of the colonists shouted, pointing to a cluster of glowing alien equipment. "That could be useful." Maya approached the equipment, her heart racing with excitement. "Let's see if we can power it up. It might help us improve our own technology." With teamwork and determination, they worked to extract valuable components from the wreckage. Maya felt a thrill as they began to piece together parts that could aid in their defense and repair efforts. After hours of hard work, they gathered a significant haul of supplies. They returned to the colony, where the atmosphere buzzed with energy. Teams were busy repairing homes, reinforcing structures, and setting up defenses. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting golden rays across the colony, Maya stood back to admire their progress. They had come together, transforming their home from a battlefield into a place of resilience. Elder Tom gathered everyone again, a proud smile on his face. "Look at what we've accomplished together. This is just the beginning. We will not only rebuild but create a community that can withstand any challenge." Cheers erupted from the colonists, their spirits soaring. Maya felt tears of pride welling in her eyes. They had proven that they were not cowards but warriors, capable of standing up for themselves and each other. As night fell, the stars twinkled above, a reminder of the vast universe beyond them. Maya gathered with her friends around a fire, sharing stories of their triumphs and dreams for the future. "We've faced the darkness," she said, looking at each of them, "and together we will continue to shine bright. This is our home, and we will protect it." The group nodded, united in their resolve. They had built not just walls, but bonds of friendship that would last a lifetime. Together, they would face whatever the future held, ready to defend their home against any threat. As the fire crackled and laughter filled the air, Maya knew this was only the beginning of their journey. They had shown the galaxy that brave, cowardly humans could defy the odds, and now they were ready to embrace whatever came next.